Hi, I watched Something in My Room, and here's my review. Pat moves into a new house with his mother and gets to meet Pop, a ghost who lost all his memories. Okay, so you must have seen the rating I gave this drama. Unfortunately, I didn't like it at all. Production-wise, I think it's not that bad. The music is okay, it's filmed okay, there's no problem with that. Maybe I think the acting is not that great. Not all the time, at least. Sometimes it's very much decent, sometimes it's a bit less, it's not all that. But yeah, just overall, the acting have ups and downs, if I can say. So that's it for the production. In the first and second episode, I think I was actually pretty into it. I think it was very different from what I was expecting of this drama. I was just expecting plain romance just between a ghost and a human, and so I was actually surprised because it was a bit creepy. Yeah, it was just a bit creepy, and I enjoyed this atmosphere. However, pretty quickly I realized that the romance is just kind of a subplot for this drama. It's not really the main plot of the drama, it's not the main focus of the drama. The main focus is to retrieve Pop's memories so he can move on. So this I was a bit bummed about because since I was expecting plain romance, I was not served with what I wanted and what I expected. So this is the first thing that threw me off a bit for the drama. It was not romance centric and it was not to my liking. Unfortunately, you can't really do anything about that. It's just preference. About the episodes in themselves, I feel like a lot of scenes were very long and some were just too long. Sometimes just nothing was happening, just two people not talking and just looking at each other, or just one person doing nothing. It didn't really serve a purpose for these scenes to be so long, and because of that I often felt bored because I was watching and nothing was happening for a minute. And maybe a minute said like that isn't long, but when nothing is happening, a minute is very long. So this I didn't really like. Also, something I didn't really like is how weirdly cut this drama is. Disclaimer, I realized after I finished this drama that there is an uncut version of this drama, and apparently after reading the comments, the uncut version is a lot better to understand the story. And unfortunately, I didn't realize that before I watched the drama. So unfortunately, I watched the cut version of this drama. And I have to say that, yeah, really, the cut version, I don't know about the uncut version, of course, but the cut version is really bad. It's really bad how they cut the drama. A lot of times they cut from a scene to another scene, and it doesn't really make sense. And a few times I had to verify if I had played the right video, because it's cut in 4 parts. And sometimes it would finish on a scene in part 2, for example, and it would be a completely different scene on part 3 at the beginning. And I would have to check if I had played the right video because it was so not going together. So it's cut very, very badly, in my opinion. And a lot of times it makes things very difficult to understand because you jump scenes and moments and it feels like it doesn't really make sense. Or what happened? Okay, you cut there, but what happened? Because it was an important scene. So yeah, really, it's cut very badly. So if you want to watch this drama, I advise you to try the uncut version. Apparently it's better. But yeah, don't watch the cut version because it's very, very bad. Unfortunately, this is something that played in my rating because it was the only version I knew when I was actually watching it, and I haven't watched the uncut version, and I don't plan to watch the uncut version as well. So this played a role in my rating. I feel like Even if you have a cut and uncut version, you should still be able to tell a proper story with the cut version. Otherwise, there's no point in doing a cut version if it's to butcher the story in this way. So yeah, it played a huge role in the rating I gave to this drama. Now, because of that, I also wrote down that a lot of things don't really make sense or are not addressed or explained, but maybe they are in the uncut version. So if you watched the uncut version, feel free to tell me about it. Because, for example, I wrote just one example, but I could have written more. But for example, a scene that particularly shocked me was the scene where they are trying to make Ben see Pop, right? And it's not working, and this woman arrives. She knocks on the door, she opens the door, she gets in. Like, at no point it is addressed why she's there, how she entered the house, nothing. She just shows up in the house uninvited. It was making no sense to me, and no one was addressing it or questioning it. So maybe in the uncut version, for example, for this example, maybe it's more explained, but in the cut version, it's not explained, and it happens a few times that things happen and you wonder why, and it feels like it comes out of nowhere. And yeah, it makes the drama very not enjoyable to watch, because you keep seeing things that you wonder about and it's never addressed. So yeah, please, if you watch the uncut version, feel free to tell me again. Really, it's my bad for not seeing there was an uncut version, but hey, mistakes happen sometimes. But yeah. Actually, I wrote something else down, and it could work as one of the examples as well of weird things that happen that are not explained. And it's the fact that at some point they can start touching each other, that Pop and Pap can start touching each other, hugging and things like that. Because I'm pretty sure at the beginning of the drama, they show that they can't touch each other, that Pop just goes through Pat. And so right after they show that to us, they show them in a dream, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And maybe it's at this moment that they have a kiss. And so I thought, oh, okay, so if they want intimacy, if they want things like that, it's going to have to happen in dreams, not in real life. I remember thinking that, so that's why it really struck me when they started being able to touch one another, and it's being a permanent thing as well. Yeah. Now, about the romance, we have a few cute scenes of them towards the end. Unfortunately, I was so far gone from this drama for a while that I didn't feel anything really for their cute scenes at all. Yeah, cute scenes, but that's it. For me, it didn't mean anything. It didn't make me feel anything either. However, I want to give a good point to this drama because at least I really liked the ending. It's a very bittersweet ending, but I really enjoyed it. It kind of feels like a happy ending, even though it's not really, right? That's why it's bittersweet, obviously. But yeah, I really enjoyed this ending, and I think it was a very fitting ending for such a drama. I wondered a lot how it was going to end, and yeah, I'm glad to say that it ends very well. At least in my opinion, I think the ending is very great. Unfortunately, that's about everything I liked about this drama. I did like the characters. They were endearing, but the mix of everything I said, how it was not focused on romance, how it was weirdly cut, how a lot of things made no sense, how I was basically bored in front of this drama because it was a mess for me. It made me unable to really appreciate the characters as they could be, but I did like them to some degree. They were endearing. Now, that's all I have to say about Something in My Room. Personally, I didn't like this drama at all. It was a chore to watch. It was very difficult. It was very difficult to finish. I did skip through a few scenes at the end because I really didn't care at all anymore. I just wanted to be done with it. Apart from the ending that I liked, nothing else really attracted my attention at all. So it's not a drama I recommend, obviously. But if you're interested, if you haven't seen it and are curious about it, check the uncut version. Apparently it's a lot better than the cut version. I can't say for the uncut version, but I can assure you that the cut version is very bad. So don't watch the cut version. With that, don't hesitate to tell me your own thoughts about this drama. Did you like it? Did you not? Hopefully you spent a good time in front of it. It was not the case for me, but maybe it was for you, and I hope it was, because yeah, it can be very difficult to continue a drama you're not interested at all in. So hopefully you had a great time. Like usual, it's not because I didn't like it that it means that I feel like everyone should hate it and that my opinion means more than your opinion. For example, if you enjoyed it, if you loved it even, it's great for you. I'm not diminishing anyone's opinion with mine. I'm just sharing mine, how it came, how I experienced it, but that doesn't make it a truth, except for some things. For example, the fact that it's very badly cut is a truth in the cut version. But apart from that, it's all opinion, so let's respect everyone's opinion. And yeah, with that, I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye!